Hi, welcome back. In this episode, we're asking the question, is your skincare making you sick? I'm Neil, and in this series, we're exploring health and wellness under the premise that some illnesses and diseases may be avoidable if we took proactive steps to prevent them. Each week, I interview wellness experts and we dive deep into one topic on health and wellness with the aim of giving you greater knowledge and freedom so you can find what works for you as a unique individual. If that sounds good to you, please subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of all our latest uploads as soon as they happen. And if this channel can help your friends or your family, please also share it with them too. In this episode, our topic is your skincare making you sick? My guest is Janey Lee Grace, and Janey is a wellness broadcaster and best-selling author of several books, including Look Great Naturally. So Janey, we're talking today about, is your skincare making you sick? Now, I thought that all skincare products would be good for your skin, but clearly maybe that's not the case.
Well, it's a very dramatic title, I know, but I think that it is worth remembering that our skin is our largest organ, and what we put on our skin goes within. And for years, I didn't think that was true. I thought that, well, I can put anything on my skin as long as I wash it off and I make sure that I'm clean, then everything's good.
Yeah.
But of course, I realized that that actually the opposite is true, and that I think it's something like 90% of what you put on your skin goes within. And if you don't believe that, then you need to ask yourself, well, how do nicotine patches and HRT patches work? Because clearly it's a tiny, tiny little amount of substance that affects your complete hormonal picture, in terms of an HRT patch or an HRT little blob of cream, which is quite incredible, really. So that's the basis of the dramatic title, if you like, that what you put on your skin does go within, and for the majority of people, they're putting a tremendous cocktail of synthetic chemicals on their skin.
That's amazing, actually. I suppose the skin's the biggest organ in the body, and what you put on it's just going straight into your bloodstream. And
exactly.
Yeah, and then I guess from there it can do all kinds of potential damage.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, there are people that real purists might say, if you're almost better off eating rubbish food because at least you've got a system that can deal with that really, really well. But actually, you're right. The skincare, the chemicals really, really do go straight to the bloodstream, and it's a kind of toxic load effect. And I suppose the thing that I've been saying for years, when I try to explain this to people, they're sometimes at the beginning they're quite incredulous because they'll say, but that doesn't make any sense because anything that we buy has been tested safe for use. So what do you mean that it could potentially be toxic?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is that I'm not trying to say that any one bottle of shaving foam or moisturizing cream or shampoo or anything else is going to cause you a massive problem, and one usage and you're going to immediately be ill. It's much more slow burn than that. And the reality is that there's something like the last figure I saw was something like 100,000 different synthetic chemicals that are passed safe for use, that have a license for use, which of course is massive increase on what it was years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous. And I think another 6,000 or 7,000 get passed every few months or every year. So in other words, manufacturers have a huge choice of synthetic chemicals to choose from. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that every synthetic chemical has been safe for use. There would be people that would argue that, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they are. So each one has been passed safe for use, but nobody can do the calculation and the equation of what happens when they interact. Because of course, if you have a bottle of something with, I don't know, a little bit of chemical number 3 and an awful lot of chemical 4,000, and then some, you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So it's the interaction that we can't quantify. But what we do know is that certain chemicals, when they interact, do become carcinogenic. Certain chemicals, when left out in sunlight, will not be very good for you. Artificial fragrances, when they combine can cause a problem. So it isn't the any one bottle of anything, it's the cumulative effect that is the issue.
Yeah, I can say so to see the impact that they have when they come together, but I guess it's the long-term impact of using it day after day, year after year, and then I guess it will start to maybe potentially manifest somewhere in the body with something. So my question then, I guess, is when we talk about skincare making you sick, what kind of sick are we potentially talking about?
Well, I think it's a whole range of things. I mean, there's a school of thought that says certain chemicals will have certain effects. So we know that the sodium lauryl sulfate type chemicals can cause irritation. You know, we know that for a fact. There are lots of chemicals that are hormone disruptors. That, you know, there are things that can actually chemicals that can actually over time lower immunity. But of course, the obvious one would be creating allergic reactions. We become desensitized. A lot of artificial fragrances can literally cause allergic reactions. They can cause respiratory problems. That's the other thing that, of course, a lot of synthetic chemicals will cause in the body, making it more difficult for you to breathe. Headaches, I mean, that's very, very common. The number of people who have headaches is unbelievable. And when they take the synthetic chemicals out of their lives, headaches can go sometimes. And then obviously, you know, the obvious one is skin condition. The thing you're trying to soothe can often become extremely irritated as a result of the toxic load. And it may not even be just exactly what you're ladening on your skin. It might be what's around, you know, in the air.
That's really fascinating. I mean, just to hear you talking about the ways that this can potentially affect people, and I guess that if you're putting these chemicals into your body, maybe but you're eating well and you're exercising, but you're still not feeling well, you know, suffering with headaches or an allergy or asthma or something, and you just don't know where it's coming from because, as you say, all of these things have been passed for use and safe for human use, and then just having that impact over time. So I'm finding this really fascinating. If you're enjoying watching this video as well, please do hit the like button and also comment below and tell us how this is impacting you, because we're very interested to know all about that as well from your point of view. Janey, what's the evidence though that it actually is making people sick?
Well, I think there's an awful lot of evidence. I mean, in the books that I've written, I've given a little bit of research from, excuse me, my contact lenses are actually playing up if you're thinking, why is she playing with her eyes? It's not my skincare, honestly. I wish I didn't have to wear contact lenses, and they're being really annoying. So I apologize if I look like I'm crying. I tend to give a little bit of research from scientists who have looked into this. And give the actual sort of focus on what the deal is. But then I try and move on as quickly as I can to what can we do about it? Because there's no point in focusing on the misery of it all. Let's just look at what we can do and what we can do easily and cheaply and find the skincare that is effective. And what we do know is that over the last few years, there's been a massive increase in choice available now in fantastic, completely 100% natural skincare and organic skincare. And it's now fighting alongside the big boys. So whereas at one time you'd have had all the big players, the conventional skincare, and then a handful of small companies who have sort of, you know, not fantastically well packaged little pots of cream, and everyone thinks, oh, that's not going to be effective. And yeah, it might be better for me, but do I want that in my bathroom? And now the whole picture has changed. You have a huge range of 100% natural and organic skincare that everyone, even people who are diehard chemical fans, admit, okay, well, do you know something? That's just as good.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. I remember my wife Jo reading your book, Imperfectly Natural Woman. I think must be back in early 2005, 2006, somewhere around that, probably.
Yeah, it's 13 years old. It's amazing.
And I just remember her going through the cupboards and reading all these things on the back of it, you know, what the ingredients, no, we're not having that anymore, not having that one anymore. But back in those days, it was more difficult to find products. I know you did a great job of researching that and educating people in terms of what they could go and buy. But availability. We live in the middle of nowhere really, so availability has not always been that easy, but online shopping is now available and that kind of thing. So tell us a bit more about what we can do about this then. So I mean, because I'm often really looking for transitions for people. You know, let's say we've got quite a toxic load because of the deodorants and the shaving creams and the skincare products and the shampoos and also all of the other things within the household as well. How can we go from perhaps having quite a toxic load within our life right now to gradually changing it so that we can improve this over time?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I do look at the holistic picture. You know, it isn't enough just to kind of look at your skincare, but then carry on spraying air freshener and washing your clothes with toxic chemicals, because you'll have the same problem. So, you know, it is important to look at the holistic picture, but it's also important not to overwhelm yourself and feel guilty. I say in all my books, you know, the minute you start to feel guilty, just do something else, you know, start with something else. And it really is the small change, big difference approach. So start with the things that are easy for you. And you know, you mentioned deodorants. That's a great place to start, because choosing a natural deodorant is actually really easy now. And you know, if you can take a time when you're not massively busy and perhaps not working, and you can just try for a few days switching your regular deodorant to a natural deodorant, and yet it might feel a little bit odd for the first few days because you're getting used to something different, but actually you'll find that they work very effectively, most of them. So that's a good place to start, because they're super cheap and it will last you absolutely ages if you can get used to it. And then I would just say, as you replace, or when it just feels right, choose something different. Now, it's not even always about spending money. You know, when it comes to skincare, most of us can simplify what we do massively. So if you're the kind of person that has, as I say, a toxic load, you know, 25 things in your makeup bag, another 20 on the side of your bathroom sink or your bathroom cabinet, and then, you know, to wash your to do the laundry and the cleaning of the house, there's another 25 things under the sink. This can be simplified. It really, really can. You do not need anything like as much as you think. So if you start with body care, for example, you know, rather than having a whole load of different things, you can literally get a jar of coconut oil. I'd recommend a raw, organic, extra virgin coconut oil. And that is going to do so many jobs for you. You know, if you get a good one, it's going to do everything. You're going to be able to moisturize your body with it. It's a fantastic moisturizer. You can put a little dollop in the bath if you want your water to feel silky. If you're too lazy to moisturize afterwards, that'll do the job. It's great for kids, by the way. You can use a little bit on your face. Sometimes it's a little bit heavy for some skin types, but you can use a little bit while you're getting into this. It's a fantastic hair conditioner, a deep hair conditioner. You can, if you really want to go trendy, you can use it for oil pulling for your teeth, you know, and of course you can cook with it. So, you know, it goes on and on. So something like that would be a good first purchase. So you can just start to introduce yourself to, okay, well, maybe I won't use that body lotion or exfoliator. Maybe I'll just use this. And then, of course, you can make your own. So in my books, in Look Great Naturally, I've got just masses of very simple DIY skincare recipes. So you can start to think, well, do I need to buy that face mask? Of course, nobody needs to buy a face mask. Everyone's got fresh ingredients that they can use for a face mask. Super, super simple. And then you know exactly what's going in. It's cost you next to nothing. And you'll really feel the benefit of having, you know, just kind of concocted a little mix for yourself.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, I'm just thinking as you're talking there, I mean, the coconut oil and being able to cook with it as well. I suppose, I don't know if it maybe came from one of your books, but a rule of thumb we've had in our house for a number of years now is if you wouldn't eat it, don't put it on your skin.
Yeah, totally. That is literally through my mantra through the whole book is, if you wouldn't eat it, don't put it on your skin. I never put anything on my skin that I can't eat. I'm not saying I would particularly want to go eat my lipstick, you know, although most of us do, you know, women do, they consume their lipstick. It's the way it works. But, you know, they reckon a lot of women use something like 500 different, you know, potentially toxic chemicals in a day. I mean, what is that about? So, you know, if you can put stuff on your skin that won't do any harm, why would you not?
Yeah. And as you're talking about deodorants as well, a moment ago, I was just thinking back when we first bought like a salt stick.
Yeah.
And when you look at the pricing of the salt stick, I think it was like £23 or something. And you look at it and go, oh, that's expensive for deodorant, but it lasts about 2 years.
Mm.
And you know, I thought that's amazing, because if you think of the cans that you would buy in the meantime, and the cost of those, but the environmental cost,
Yeah, exactly.
and that kind of impact, it's actually a little salt stick actually does wonders, does the job.
Yeah, I mean there are even cheaper ones. If you buy one of the kind of crystal stone type ones, you can get them for literally £3 or £4.
Yeah.
You know, this stuff doesn't have to cost a lot of money. That's been leveled at me so much over the years. You know, well, if I buy organic skincare, if I buy natural skincare, it's going to cost a lot more. And the truth of it is, some things will cost a little bit more. Most of the makeup ranges and the really, really good hair care ranges are a bit more expensive. That's true. But a whole load of stuff is cheaper. And as I've already said, you will save money, because there's a whole load of products you never need to buy again. Because, as I say, you know, one jar of extra, you know, of organic coconut oil will last you a long time, and it's a multi-purpose product. And if you can ditch a lot of the stuff you're using by just you know, if you want just a really simple exfoliator, you know, you can make your own so easily. A little bit of oatmeal, a little bit of water. You can put some sea salt, you know, coarse sea salt in if you want it to be more exfoliating. There's just so many really, really simple ways you can do this. And of course, if you want things to smell nice, then you can use essential oils. You know, if you invest in a couple of nice smelling essential oils, then you certainly don't need bubble bath or anything to add to your bath, because you just add a little bit of essential oil. You could even add a little bit of essential oil to your coconut oil, and then you've got a really gorgeous, I don't know, lavender or rose moisturizer.
Nice. Yeah, lovely. So I'm just thinking, if let's say someone was looking just purely from a health point of view, we mentioned things that we put on our skin and on our body, things within the household products that we would use to clean. If someone was starting just and could only make, let's say, one or two changes to start with, would you recommend, in terms of the impact, I guess, it's having on people, would you recommend that you start with the body or the household environment? From a health point of view, what would have the biggest impact?
It's a difficult one. I think probably if I really had to choose, I would say, well, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to say, get rid of the artificial fragrances.
Right.
Okay. And that actually is going to cover everything. But if you start with that will make the most difference most quickly, if you see what I mean. So if you're using conventional air fresheners, they need to go right away. If you're using detergents to wash your clothes that are, you know, really, if they smell really strong, then you don't want to be using them really. You need a natural version. And again, that they can be very cheap and simple. Things like eco balls to wash your clothes can be fantastic for most general wash loads. And no need for fabric softener, which is really not great for the environment, and I mean, you've just got to smell it to know what it's doing, right? So that can go. You know, you're washing up liquid, anything you're cleaning your home with that has a really, really strong fragrance is probably well, it will be using artificial fragrance that is going to be affecting your respiratory system and all kinds of stuff. And then onto your skincare, the same again. What have you got that's got a lot of artificial fragrance in it? And most things have got a fair bit. So if you start with that, slowly but surely getting rid of the artificial fragrances, then you're, you know, that would be my answer, because it's really difficult to say, well, if you just change your moisturizer, everything will be all right, because as I've already said, it's a little bit more holistic than that.
Sure. So similar question but different angle. If someone was looking at this from a cost point of view, as in what they could afford to do right now, where would you recommend that they would start?
I think from a cost perspective, you know, I would really look at some of the very, very cheap, easy ways of making some of your own stuff, because it really is so easy. This really does not have to cost more money. In fact, I think for most people, the truth of it is you spend a lot less after the initial purchases that you need to make, because you do probably need some essential oils, and some various bits and bobs, but after those initial purchases, actually things are a lot cheaper. So I would say for somebody on a real small budget, then buy some coconut oil. Buy any coconut oil, but not anything with anything added, not coconut butter or coconut body lotion, but actual coconut oil. And you can get that very cheaply. It may not be quite as premium quality, but it will do the job, and it will do a multi-purpose job. And having something like that will probably get you quite excited to think, wow, hold on a minute, that's amazing. Investing in as I say, a cheap natural deodorant, something that's £3 or £4, is gonna last you literally a couple of years if it's one of the kind of stone types. So that's a great thing to do. And also then you start thinking, and we haven't really touched on the sort of old-fashioned cleaning stuff that I recommend, but for cleaning your home, instead of buying the multi-purpose cleaners, you can have something like some bicarbonate soda, which you've probably got in your cupboard, and bicarbonate soda and water will clean most things, most surfaces.
Yeah. And actually, I think this came from your book as well. When you're cooking something and it's burnt the pan a little bit, you can just stick bicarbonate of soda in the pan and just leave it overnight, and it does all the hard work for you, and it seems like a bit of a miracle tool in the kitchen.
Yeah, Bicarb is amazing. Can't believe we've been talking this long without me mentioning it. I think the really annoying thing is it used to be really cheap. When I wrote my first book, you could get a massive thing of Bicarb for a couple of quid. I'm sure they read the book and thought, oh, we need to make it more expensive, because it's a bit more expensive now, but it's still not not really too bad. But yeah, it is a wonder product, and you can use it for for if you've got any plastic stuff, God forbid, but if you've got it, you may as well reuse it, right? So to clean any plastic, it's brilliant for cleaning coffee machines and things like that, baby bottles, all of that stuff. It's also great for soaking up odors. So if you've got a carpet that doesn't smell so great, you can sprinkle the bicarb on it before you vacuum it. You can put it in your shoes. I've got teenagers who have smelly shoes, so you can use it for that. It really is amazing, and it costs next to nothing really. You can also use it to treat stains. So if you mix bicarb with a tiny bit of water, it forms like a little paste. So you can use it for stains on your clothes, and as you say, for pans or to clean the oven, it's great.
Yeah, fantastic. So Janey, when I'm interviewing our experts on the channel, I like to ask them all to leave me with a challenge, leave our community with a challenge, just something that we could do for a day or for a week or for a month. What would your challenge be for our community?
Well, I'd say, because obviously I don't know where people are at, but let's say I'd say the first thing is to count up the amount of different chemical products that you're using. And then your challenge would be to halve it. Okay, so if you're using, I don't know, if you're doing a whole skincare routine and you're using 6 different things, and then you're putting something else on your hair, so that's 7, and then you're soaking your dishes in something, and then you're washing them in something else, and then you're cleaning a surface. By the end of the day, it's going to be a lot. So I would say halve it the first day, and then a couple of days later, quarter it.
Wow. Okay.
That's a challenge, but it's perfectly doable. Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's the challenge. Thank you, Janey. Appreciate your time in talking to us about our skincare today. It's been fascinating hearing you talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Janey mentioned a book, Look Great Naturally, and I'll add a link into the description down below for you so that you can take a look at that. Understanding your skincare could be making you sick was a real eye-opener. To think that products that have been past fit for human consumption could be affecting your hormones, your immunity, giving you headaches and maybe allergies. Well, who knew, right? Who knew that could happen? So what about Janey's challenge? Can you halve the use of the chemicals in your home? Is that something that you're willing to take on? Is that a challenge that you're going to do? If it is, please do leave a comment below and tell us what you're going to do and also how you got on. Also look out for my challenge video where I round up all the challenges from our experts, and I'll show you how I've got on with that challenge too. To get that challenge video and our latest uploads on health and wellness topics, please subscribe and hit the bell to make sure you get notified as and when we post. And you probably know somebody who has maybe suffered or is suffering with unexplained headaches, or has maybe developed allergies over the years. And if you do, please do share this video with them, because you may be actually changing their health and therefore their life if you were to share that with them. If you really want to get proactive with your health and wellness, then Total Wellness Club are developing health quests over at questly.life. Join now while we're developing the site, and you'll get access to health quests and be able to immediately personalise your health by identifying which of 10 health categories you most need to focus on right now. You'll also be able to track your progress, and you'll also be able to help us develop the platform too. That's questly.life, and I'll pop a link into the description for you, and I'll see you next week.